Happy Tuesday! I am jumping on today to do a mixed media project that I am super excited about because I get to combine the printables with the Rub-On Transfer Club. Now these are June's designs, so they're only available to members right now, but you can join in and get them if you want them. But we're going to be using the background sheet. So this is just a what do you call it? Like, it's used so that you can cover multiple areas, but we're going to be using that today. I do have this printed off on 32-pound bright white. It's a little bit heavier, but that's going to allow us not to have to paint the surface, which anytime I can skip a step, I am for it. I got my paint out, but I don't think we're using the paint today, so I don't even think I need that today. But we will need the printable. We're also going to be using two of the sheets. We're going to be using these two fruit designs here. And we're also going to be using this is the one I'm not using. I got a whole bunch going on. We're going to be using this one down here. You shall know them by their fruits. We're going to be using this one. And hey, Miss Sandy. So we're going to be using those two. Then I've got one of our tiles from the Pop and Swap frame, and I've got our little fruit cutouts. Now I put in the link that you can grab the cutout on the store, but I haven't added it to the store yet because I ran out of time before I got this live. But as soon as I get off here, they'll be in here. So this is our Pop and Swap frame. This one is the Mary of Bethany, and so I'm going to be making this tile to fit in here. Well, I'm going to be making this tile to display in here. So before I had the Grow in Grace, and then I also had the Lord is my salvation. Hey, Miss Kelly. Oh, she says it's a beautiful day in the Ozarks. I love that. The weather here has been so weird. So I'm all for beautiful days. So this is the Pop and Swap frame, but I'm just getting a new tile, and I'm going to use it. We're going to make a tile to go in here. Now, the way I'm going to do this, just heads up, because I am going to layer stuff on the top of it, you're not going to be able to flip it around because I'm putting a bow on here, and so I'm layering the little wood cutouts. So if you do this, just know you'll only be able to use the one side of the frame, but it will be so cute you won't even care. I have my iron on. It's reminding me. It's reminding me that I have it on. I actually turned on my iron and my glue gun. Look at me today. Rocking it already. All right, so I got my tile. I got my fruits. Again, I'll get the fruits added as soon as I jump off. I have my alarm set for 11:45 to get ready for this, right? And then I realized my son has tutoring at 1 and he hadn't eaten anything. So he's like, I want pancakes. So I ran in there and made pancakes. Then I had to like fix my face a little bit. Then I came in here, and then of course there's updates. So it didn't happen like I wanted it to prior to jumping on live, but it's okay. All right, let's bring in I'm going to remove myself, and then I'll bring in the All right, we're back. Yeah, so that's how today's going. Hi, Miss Mary from Rhode Island. Hi, Miss Cindy. Gotta hydrate. Okay. Ooh, I have this one too. I could use this brown one. We'll see which one it looks good in. All right, so in addition to these things, I have got just a little bit of scrap, like, what is this? Burlap trim is what it's called. I don't remember when I got this. Based on the label, it looks like Dollar Tree. Yep, Dollar Tree. I don't know if they still have it, but I just have some scrap left. I'm going to be using this thinner one here. That has like the little wavy as a background to my bow. I've got my jute over here. So I think we can go ahead and start. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Also scared because if you've watched me for any amount of time, you know my cutting is not the best on estimating sizes. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick it in on this side so that I don't It's this whole thing that messes me up because it cuts here, but I'm thinking it's cutting over here. It's a whole thing. So I'm going to make sure that I don't cut off too much by doing this. So basically I'm using this as a background. And so this is fine. I'm just going to line it up to here. I don't even know if this is straight. You know, it doesn't even matter because we're going to sand off the edges. So I'm just going to cut that. Hey, it actually wasn't too bad. Just so I can use these pieces for something else later. I always say that, and I rarely use them. It's like the bananas. I'm going to make banana bread later, right? And then all of a sudden you have banana soup in your little bowl of bananas. I have the greatest of intentions. All right, but I will put them, I have a pile over here that I put them all in. So when I need them, they're there. But I just want to cut it down a little bit so that we don't have so much to work with. Okay, so if you look at this sheet, the fruit are all going one direction. When I was playing around with this yesterday, I realized that. I was going to do borders and do all, I had all these plans I was going to do for this yesterday. But, of course, I changed my mind 100 times. So we're going to put it on that way. But the first thing that we need to do is we need to get some Mod Podge on here. I am going to do the iron-on method. We don't need to paint it because of the 32-pound bright white is a thicker paper. So it's not going to show through. Oh, I got more people popping on. Miss Victoria, hello. Liz says she's learning to just roll with unplanned chaos. That is the story of my life right there, Liz. You and me, we are the same. Elizabeth's running errands. Miss Eileen, hello. Miss Lynn, Miss Victoria, Miss Lisa, Miss Janice. Kim's at work, love it. Hey, Susan. Susan's over on YouTube. Hi, Miss Pam. All right. I don't think this one will take very long, y'all. I mean, we didn't even have to paint. All right, I'm a little dry over here on the edges. So when you do the iron-on method, you want to make sure you get the edges good. Again, this is where the mat comes in handy because we can just go right off I can just take it right off here and it's not going to matter because I'm just going to be able to peel it off the mat later. So we can be fast and messy and creative at the same time. Now, if we don't get it all the way to the edges, our edges aren't going to stick very well. And let me show you an example of that for those of you while we're waiting for this to dry. For those of you that are on the workshop week, you guys know that I did, I cut out the pop and swap tile and I did it on the tiles. So if you look closely here, let me try and show you, like right here, it's like bubbled. See how that didn't get in there all the way? That's because I didn't bring the Mod Podge all the way down to the edge very well. So to fix this, I can just stick some Mod Podge in here and like re-iron it down and that'll fix it. But that's what happens when you don't get all the way to the edges. Just as a little side lesson there. Liz has a container. Miss Darlene, first time on, welcome, welcome. This is a great idea. Liz says she has, oh, I need to hit multiple buttons. Liz says she has a container that her scraps go in and the grandchildren pull from them when they craft. I absolutely love that. I will tell you, I have, Kelly said she found us on YouTube. I had, my grandma, I might have told this story before. If I did, sorry. For those of you that are new, it's a new story. But my grandma had this giant box of cards that they got just through their whole lives. Like my grandma saved all these. So they're like vintage now. At the time, I was like, they're not vintage. I mean, they looked old, but I didn't realize they were vintage. Anyway, so it's like anniversaries, birthdays, get well, just because. And cards back in the day were like beautiful. They were all like embossed and they had like the ones where you pop in, like they just don't make them like they used to. And if you know, I think everything's like that nowadays. But she had this giant box of them. And every time she showed me one time how to take cards and fold them and make like almost like a jewelry box where the top would go in and it would go over the bottom. I mean, I'd have to watch a tutorial to find out how to do it again, but we're just letting this dry, so that's why I'm telling us a quick story here. But every time I went to her house, that was like the highlight of my trip, was to bust open that box. Hold on, I don't know what my iron's doing. All right, it says level 3. I don't know what that means. Anyway, the highlight of my trip was to bust open this box and go through and pick my favorites. I had my favorite cards that were just too pretty to even make anything with. So there's ones in there that I never even used. So she passed, God rest her soul, a few years ago. And then that was my great grandma. My grandma got her house. Well, then my grandma passed a few years ago. And my mom actually got the house that all of these were in. And so my mom was asking me before I went up to the funeral a few years ago, she's all, is there anything of grandma's that you want? And I was like, there's a box of cards. It's in the closet right when you walk in, right on the top hand shelf to the right. Because, you know, my grandma never moves anything. And I'm all, is it still there? So my mom's like, it's still there. And I'm like, I want it. I will pay you to ship it to me. And now I'm just remembering, I never had her ship it to me. So I need to get this box of cards. So all that to say, your grandkids are going to have great memories of that box of scraps, because I absolutely love those cards. I need to have my mom like ship that to me. And that reminds me, she's in, my grandpa lived in Vancouver, Washington, and my mom's up there now at that house. And now would be a good time to remind her that she needs to ship me those. Okay, so right now I'm just using the light to figure out where my edges need to be and what's going to hang off so that I can get it on there correctly. Okay, so while I'm doing this, Kim says I was accepted as an affiliate. Now what? If you're accepted and you got the email from Camille, she will send you your discount code and your link to your special link that you can use to track sales. Kim, and you just share with, anytime you're sharing with friends and family or anyone about Christian craft paper, then you just give them that link or your discount code and it will track the sales either way. And then on the 15th of every month, I would have to look and see, did I miss payday? On the 15th of every month, as long as your payment's over $10, like once you hit $10, we'll pay you out each month. I will send you a payment to your payment method on file. It's that easy. Lisa, she loves this. Lisa has okay, I gotta show this. Lisa says she has a box of cards over the years from her husband and family. I recently bought a vintage journal. See, I love it. Let the kids play with it. Because it really is one of my favorite memories of my grandma. I could be in that box for hours. And the box had a specific smell. Not like a stink, but like reminiscing smell. All right, since we're doing the iron-on method, we're going to need to use our parchment paper. I've got it lined up as best I can, that I can tell. And we're just going to iron this on. Diana just got her first order yesterday, Soulful Sentiments, and she loves them. That is our most popular transfer set right now. So you have good taste, Diana. Miss Becky, hello. All right, everything's moving everywhere. I think this parchment paper is like worn out. Not that it doesn't stop working, because it does, but this parchment paper is like, I'm tired, y'all. Still good. We're still going to use you. All right, so we're going to make sure, now that we ironed it on, we're going to make sure our sides are all the way down so we don't have that issue that we had with the one I just showed you where I didn't get all the way to the edges. We did. So this is what we've got right now. It's attached. Love this method, especially if you are a beginner. The iron-on method for decoupage is a game changer. All right, so we are going to, I just reorganized and got all, look at my little, I've got all little organization drawers over there. I cleaned up down there. I put my little paints, I know you can't see them, but they're in little bins now. Went on a cleaning spree today. Now I can't find anything. All right, so we're just gonna sand this off. And you're just gonna drag it down. Don't drag up. I'm only pushing down. Because we don't want to lift it back off of the tile. That's not what we're trying to do. And then what this is going to do, what's it going to do? What this is going to do is give us a nice edge. And you all might be shocked for a minute today, but I don't think I'm going to do any aging. I think I'm going to leave it nice and new. So that just gives us like the perfect edge. Almost there. All right, so you can see like our edge, like it's pretty much perfect. If you have any little scraps, you can sand them off. All right, we look good. All right, so we are going to, because we just created a little dust, and we're going to be working with transfers next, and you know the transfers don't like dust. They like a nice clean surface. So whatever you got to do to get all of the dust off of your thing, whatever you're putting them on, do it. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty already. We haven't even stuck anything on it. These printables this month are just my favorite. All right, so I think I'm going to do the small transfers first. So I'm going to show you how to do the lemon and the strawberry with this month's transfers. So we made the transfers to fit these exactly. Well, technically we made these first and then we made these to fit. So we have a strawberry we're going to cut out. Leave yourself some room to hold on to it. Like we don't need to cut all the way around this. We just need to cut enough so that we can grab something. So we're just going to cut out these two because this is what we'll be using. All right, again, you don't have to cut them out perfect. It don't matter. So I'm going to show you how to do these because I didn't show this before. Well, we haven't done that. The tutorial is on the actual website already. But I'm going to show you how it worked best for me to do these because it is just a teeny bit tricky. So it has the back. You're going to pull it off. I just pulled it off. I didn't explain that's what I was doing. And then this is the front. So this part goes down. Now, rather than try and get it like this, because you can't see, which that's what I tried kind of to do last time. But for me, it was easier just to put it face down on my mat and then go and line up my wood. So my head, I don't know, it might not get in the way. So I'm just going to try and line up my wood with this corner and the bottom. Because once this sucker's down, I'm going to tell you it's going to be down. I'm not talking because I'm concentrating. Okay. Then we can flip it over, and I did pretty dang good. All right, so then I'm going to take my transfer tool. Now, when you get the transfers, they do come with the credit card tool. Each set comes with this. If you ever see, you will never see me using that credit card tool. What I use the credit card tool for is to put Mod Podge on, and then I peel it off and use it again. I always use the transfer tool because especially with words, I need this little end so I can get in there and get the words. But I just use the transfer tool. I have control issues, so I like having control over everything. Nancy's going to watch after she gets off work. That's fine, Nancy. Thank you for stopping by. All right, the girls are going to take the meal out. Okay, so then all you do is just peel it off. And now we have a perfect lemon. I did that one good. Now I'm just taking my edge around because there might be like a tiny bit of edge. If there is, we just take it around. Now, if you didn't get it on center, because you basically have like one shot of this. If you didn't get it on center, I would just get your antique wax and just do the edges and everything will be fine. So don't stress. All right, we're going to do the strawberry next. I feel like the strawberry is a little bit trickier because you have like the whole stem and everything. All right, so same thing. We're going to peel off the protective backing. We're going to stick it face down on our mat. And the strawberry goes two ways, so you're going to have it the way that the transfer is. Miss Dixie, I asked you if you wanted in before I went live, and you said no, and now you're on the other side of the gate. All right, so we're going to just drop it on here. Now, if you drop it lightly, you may be able to move it. All right, I think I did pretty decent. All right, then we're going to turn around, and we're going to rub that on. The girls might get annoyed hearing her bark and let her in. All right, and then we're just going to peel it off. And then we're going to do the same thing. Just take your finger and get these little, there might be little tiny, like see-through edges. You can just take your finger, go through, and like push them all down. If you can't get to it, use your transfer tool and just push them in there. Like, how easy is that? These are so cute. So in the transfer set, you get one lemon and one lime that will match these. And I have also painted these, if you caught last week or the week before. This one, I just painted. So here's the transfer one. Here's the painted one. So you can get them and just paint them. I just use the transfer as my guide. I didn't even get fancy with dimension or anything. I just painted it. And so don't think you have to have the transfers to use them. You can just paint them. I haven't done the lemon yet, but I need to try. For some reason, the lemon makes me nervous, but I need to just do it. Okay, so I think we're ready for our transfers on here now. We've got our little fruit ready. The fruit I'm going to be using for a bow. I can get this out of here because we barely even needed paintbrushes today. Okay, so this set does come with 3 sheets. I should show you all 3. So this is the first sheet is all lemons and the verses. The next one has all strawberries with a couple watermelons worked in there. And then the third one has the full verses and just kind of more lemons. This one is coaster size, just so you know. And yeah, so those are the 3 sheets that we have. I'm just going to be using the bottom of this one. So again, I'm just going to cut off this one. Now, because this one has solid behind it, the pattern is not going to show through because this is a solid graphic. When I peel it off here, you'll be able to see it's a solid graphic. So that means the background is not going to show through, and I'll be able to just put it right on top of this. Oh, thank you. She's been losing her mind. Okay, Dixie's in now. I'm like, she's been losing her mind. And it like fits perfectly on here. So what I have to decide now, because I didn't think this through where I want it. Good news is our pattern kind of has some lines that we can use to make this straight. I do want to add a bow on there. So I think I'm going to just change gears real quick and make the bow so that I can decide where I want the placement of everything. So I'm just going to take a couple little scraps of this. I'm going to cut it kind of at an angle. I just kind of want this for just background. I don't even know if I want. All right, and then I'm going to get my bin o' raffia here, my little drawer of raffia, and I'm going to grab some. You know how it is when you're grabbing raffia. Could be a little, could be a lot. We don't know. It's always exciting. All right, and then this does need to be a little bit of a smaller one because the frame is only yay big, you know. All right, I think that's good. All right, so I'm just grabbing it. And then I'm going to use this to tie it. Just another piece of raffia. Now you do have to be careful with the raffia. If I haven't mentioned before, it can give you like the tiniest sliver you ever did have. So know that. Also, if you pull too hard, it will snap on you. Know that. This is raffia 101. Okay, so I just kind of wanted this to give it just some like texture back here. And then we are going to layer these on here as well. I don't know how yet, but I'm just getting an idea for sizing. I think that's going to work. So I'm going to push this down a little bit more because it is taking up a little bit more than I thought. So I think we're going to go here. All right, I'm going to bring this down a little closer to me, but I'll make sure you can still see. All right, I'm going to line it up with this line right here because I think that's good because my bow is going to be taking some room. All right, with these, again, you got one shot. So let's make sure we get it on as straight as we can. Hey, Miss Patty. And then I believe we're going for this yellow line here. So if you have a pattern that has lines, that makes it really easy to get it straight. So the other thing that I'm just watching, this comes at an angle, we have a little bit here, and this is straight, we have a little bit there. So I could have shoved it like a smidgen this way, but that's okay. We know that it's pretty good there. So again, we're gonna come in with our transfer tool or precision transfer tool, and we'll like rub it in. And then I always get questions on sealing. Okay, so for sealing, this is the point that you're going to want to seal before you put your bow on. And I have the sealers that I'm using now. I got to organize. I can just grab them. Are the Aleene's. This is the matte finish. You can tell by the can. That's the type of finish it's going to have. And this is the gloss finish. They're acrylic sealers, indoor and outdoor projects. So the gloss one is what I use for rocks. I'll usually use that on any type of glass because I don't want the design. I don't want to make the glass matte after I finish it. For this type of project, I would use a matte. So at this point, you would want to seal it. I would do one light coat, let it rest, a second light coat, let it rest, and then you're good. Okay, so that's what I'm using for sealers. That's how I do sealers. If you're reselling, seal at this point and then add your embellishments, okay? I'm probably just going to be keeping this, so I'm not going to worry about sealing. Plus, I don't think y'all want me to go outside and seal and wait and all that stuff. So, all right, so I'm going to be putting this one at an angle, and it's wanting to curl up. So I'm going to try and make it go down. I'm going to... All right, this is not, I turned my iron off, but since our ribbon is not cooperating, there we go. It was still hot enough to do it. The mat is heat proof, so you can run your iron right on it and it's fine. Another reason I absolutely love this mat. All right, so this is kind of the area I'm going. I do want it to overlap a little bit so that when we pop it in the frame, and if you wanted to put it in your frame at this point, you totally could, because we're not going to be gluing anything. But if you wanted to see like what it's going to look like, you can put it in your frame and then we can start adding all of the things. Actually, I want this at more of an angle. And then you can start figuring out what you want to do. You know, do you want to put this on here, and then we could put the little lemon here, which I think might be the best. I also am going to want, I have some scraps of jute. Let me see how big of a bow we can get with one of these scraps. If I can't get a big enough bow, I will cut another piece. But when I was doing my cleaning, I found these and I was like, I need to use them. Just again, to add some more texture. I don't think you're going to see that. All right, going bigger. Karen wants to know, can we seal them with a glossy Mod Podge? You totally could. The only thing that, just to be aware what might happen, is if you get bubbles, then what you're going to want to do is go back over it with the iron, and that will get rid of your bubbles. Where's my start one? Oh, right here. Hold on, let me start again. So yeah, you can do that. All right, just making loops, and I feel like I need a little bit beefy. I was going to stack the fruit, but I think I'm going to use the strawberry on the bow, and then I'm going to use the lemon down here. All right, so just using my extra that I had here, and we're just tying this into a little bow. Make it tight, tie it again. Making sure my iron is still on, because that thing, you could get it all charged, get it all ready, and then it just decides to turn itself off right when you need it. Like, how many times does that happen? All right, let's glue this first, and then we'll start layering. All right, one of my hairs is in here. We don't want that. All right, I'm aiming for right here. And I do want a little bit more of an angle that I'm going to put the bow, because I want it to show. Then I'm going to come in here with the bow here. So we can do this one next. Again, just putting the glue in the same spot. I'm still doing the bow at an angle, but not quite as drastic. I forgot my kitty paw. Always have to have an excuse to use my kitty paw. How cute, right? All right, then we can really push down on there and we don't get burned. Okay, at this point, I am gonna just get everything going the direction that I wanna go. Like, this is trying to be weird, so let's tuck it down under here. We can trim all these when we get to that part, but right now we've got this. Okay, then I'm gonna layer it again with my jute bow. Same thing, I'm just gonna put some glue down in there. And we're gonna stick that one on there. So we've got nice depth and texture. All right, and this is kind of where everything is sitting. So at this point, we can go in and trim these if you want, you know, some longer or shorter. Totally a personal preference. I tried to kind of layer, but you know, everything's just going to kind of go the way it wants to go type deal. But I feel this is good. I do try and make sure I don't have a bunch of the words covered. All right, so then we're doing the strawberry. I lost my strawberries. I am going to do the strawberry as the center of the bow. And we're just going to hold that mama down. And then from here, oh, I almost like it just kind of angled up there on the corners. So it looks like it's sitting as part of the frame. Now, if you wanted this to be permanent in your frame, you could do it here on the outside of the frame. Like if you were just going to use this frame for your, if you weren't going to use it for anything else, so that I can still like pop and swap it, I am going to do it at that corner, but I'm going to take it out of the frame right now so that I don't, so I know it's right on the edge here and I have some room to pop it and swap it. All right, let me push that up. This is turning out way cuter than I even thought. No worries, Miss Pam. All right, so we're gonna be a little bit more generous with the glue here. And then, like I said, we want to place it close to the edge, but not so much that when we pop the frame, it's going to pop off. I actually wanted it a little bit lower, but dang if it didn't stick. So this is what we have. It's fine. All right, so we will get that out of the way. I'll get the other frame so you can see it in both frames. But that's it. So again, with this tile is sticky. With this particular tile, you can't, I think this one has something on the edge. I need to sand that down. You could use either frame. So I can put it in this frame. This frame is sticky. So we have this one. Let me remove this camera so you can see. So we have it in this one. This is the one that has we did the crackle technique on here. So cute. Or we can take it out and we can put it in this one that's a little bit more simpler. I think I'll actually display it in this one because it's just a little bit more simpler. But that is, no worries, Kim. That's another way for you guys to use your pop and swap frames. So I've linked the pop and swap frames. With the pop and swap frames, you get one tile, but you can order extra tiles so that you have more to play with. Again, you won't be able to do the back of this one because it's not going to go back in the frame. Okay, you'll only be able to display it on this side, but I totally think it's worth it because you can layer all the cute little designs on there. So that's how easy it is to do the pop and swaps. With the layering, we've got printables here. We've got our rub-on transfers. We did our rub-on transfers on our fruit cutouts, and then we used the pop and swap frame to display. So I'm going to jump off here and I'm going to add the fruit. Previously, the fruit is only available to the members. They've had access to it for I think like a week now. So we're going to go ahead and release the fruit to everyone else. If you join the Rub-On Transfers membership, then you'll have these Rub-On Transfers. If not, we'll release any that we have left on July 1st and you can grab them then. Or like I said, you could just paint these because I just painted the other one and it looked just as cute. Susan said, so cute. Can't wait to make one. I don't have a Pop-It frame, but maybe I need to buy one. Susan, yes, you do. They're the most fun. Because again, I could just put these on my shelf. Where do I have it? It's on, yeah, it goes right there where that little stand is. So if you get the medium stand is the one that fits the pop and swaps, then you can just put it on there and then that's how you display it. So I can just change this out. Like I mentioned, I've been showing the Growing Grace one for a while. This one is more of a fall one, so I'll use it for fall. But for right now, I'm going to have this one up because it's super summery and it just fits everything. So again, just trying to give you guys more ideas. We don't just have to decoupage and do one layer. We can add all kinds of stuff to this. And so it gives it more dimension and it's just way more fun. So that's my tutorial for today. Let's see what's next. I will be going live next Tuesday. I can't remember what we're doing, but I'm sure I've got something fun planned for you. This month is going so fast already. I can't even. Now, if you do join the Printables Club, I always like to say you get the printables immediately. Now, you could do the same thing with the printables. Instead of using, you could use the background, and then instead of using this, you could use one of the other printables to layer the words on top of it. Same process, except you would just decoupage it there. So don't think if you only have the Printables Clubs, you can't make something similar, because you can. I have them here. Again, I just got all organized and I'm gonna have to remember where everything is. But the printables have multiple pages. So with the printables, this one here is page 1. This one right here, that fits the pop and swap frame exactly. You could add the strawberry and a bow to this one. Just use this like it is and add the strawberry and a bow on here. So cute. These two are sized for coasters. So those can go right on a coaster. And then again, this one is sized for the pop and swap frame. So you could put your lemon on this one. Like you could do the same thing with just the Printables Club without using the transfers. Then we've got Fruitful Servant. You've got extra little berries in here. You can cut out and use the sticky paper like we've done in other transfers or other tutorials. And you've got a bunch of borders here. Page 3 is gift tags. So these are all strawberry ones. This is actually a bonus page, and that is a bonus page. Oh, page 4 is the one that I used, that I cut up. And then your 2 bonus sheets are the lemon tags and the jam jars. Now, the jam jar ones is what I used, if you didn't catch the tutorial, to make these cute little jam jars for my neighbor. I just used the sticky paper to apply this. You could use Mod Podge. And I put a little fabric thing on there. I got these little ladybugs at Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. And then I just tied a jute bow. And how cute of a gift is that? You can reprint the printables as many times as you want. So you've got limitless crafting. And then I also did this one. So this one, the printables, I used the sticky paper again. And then this is on cardstock. And then I thought, how cute would it be to put like cookies in here? Like if you made cookies and you could just stack this whole jar with cookies, seal it. Again, I just did the fabric on top and a cute little jute bow. And then this is the wood that I actually painted. So there's tons of things that you can do with printables. I totally think they're underrated. But that's a couple more ideas. Okay, Karen has a question. Okay, I need to kind of, okay, when I print out my printables, they're not as bright as yours. Is there a trick to printing them out to stay bright colors? Okay, Karen, let me show you the difference. So these ones are printed on, where's my other ones? I have to like feel them to see which ones they are. Okay, all of these are printed on 32-pound bright white. I'm trying to find, these ones are printed on just regular copy paper. So let's see, let me get the same one here. Let me go back to the overhead. Okay, so this is the difference, which I forgot to put like all of my lights on here so that you can see. So as far as brightness, there is a little bit of difference. The other thing that I noticed is in the lettering on the 32-pound bright white, it's a teeny bit sharper than it is on the regular. This is just regular copy paper that I would use for like homework, all those things. So the 32-pound bright white, you are going to get more of a print quality. Like think if you bought like a printed piece of art that hangs on the wall, the 32-pound bright white is going to give you a better quality. Now I use an inkjet printer. So I don't even use a laser, and it is an HP, and it's an old HP. I call it my workhorse. We've gone through 2 laser printers, and that old HP is still like the best printer. I have to fight with it sometimes to print because it gets an attitude. But that thing, it's not a special printer. Okay, so I'm not using anything special. So you might try adjusting your settings on your printer because sometimes you can actually choose like a higher quality print setting. I'm not sure what it is. All mine are set to that because we used to print the rice paper, and I had to have like the highest quality print on there. So check in your settings and make sure you're set to like high quality, because that will release more ink, and that might be part of it too. So I would do those 2 things: better paper, and then check your print settings. What you're going to have to do is just Google it, because that's what I did. I just Googled my printer number and then like, how do I print higher quality? And it will walk you, usually there's a tutorial for everything on YouTube, but you'll find a video and it will show you how to print, but you want that high quality printing. And so now we just high quality print everything that goes through there, but it's fine. So that's what I would suggest. Okay. Let me pull that out. And Liz says, trying to wait patiently to my wrist heals to craft these great crafts. Oh, I know, girl. We're playing for you. Can't wait to get hers. Carmen's getting her order today. Liz says, Karen, it is the copy paper you're using. So that does make a difference. I get the 32-pound bright white on Amazon. I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like it was enough that I was like totally worth it. And then I think it's actually listed in my favorite things. If you go to the page and go to Melanie's favorite things, I'm pretty sure that copy paper is in there. If it's not, I'll link it. But it's basically like you're gonna buy that ream and use it forever. Like I think I've used like this much of it. And I print these out multiple times to show you guys because we'll print them out and then we'll be like, oh crud, we need to change the size. And then we'll print them out again and then we're like, oh crud, we need to fix this. And so I use that thing a lot. Kelly says, beautiful. I'm excited to work on our Pop and Swap frames. God blessings to the rest of y'all's day. Thank you so much, Kelly. Karen says, thanks. All right. So I'm going to hop off. I'm going to get those fruit on the website for everybody. Hey, Miss Sunshine. We're just wrapping up, girl. You're going to have to catch the replay. So I'll get the fruit on the website so everybody can get them. Again, the members only had access to it. Miss Sunshine, this is what we just made today with the Pop and Swap frame. So this is just one of our tiles. And we did it with the printable and then the rub-on transfer. And then we used the fruit cutouts with the transfers. But again, y'all can paint them. Don't worry if you can't. If you're like, I don't want to commit to the club, but I want those fruit. You can paint them with the paint markers. It's all, everyone can do it. All right. And so I'm going to wrap up here. I'm going to add the fruit. I'm going to make sure that copy paper is in my favorite things on Facebook, Karen, so that you have it. And Becky says, waiting for, oh, girl, we got all kinds of hand surgeries this month. Well, Becky, you just need to make a list of all the stuff that you want to do. Get it all ready so you can get crack-a-lackin'. At least you got your surgery early before the holidays so that you can get your holiday crafting on. Speaking of holidays, we're going to be releasing that soon. If you're a member and you didn't watch my live I did last night all the way to the end, you missed out. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Wink, wink. Yeah, but that's it for today, you guys. I'll get those things updated so you can grab them. And I will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Until then, happy crafting.